do a demonstration on setting up fire sprinklers and setting up a heat treatment in a single room, kind of how I go about it. So very first thing I did was I took out one of the sleep tights, brought it in, ran the hose down, regulator tank, got that set up and running immediately. That way you can start breaking a chill. I then come back to the truck and I grab the air movers, the moving blanket slash heat blanket, and start getting that set up. So I've kind of given myself what I'll say is like a 15-20 minute head start if you focus on getting the heat set up first. So in this case, confirmed bugs, one room, nobody else sleeps in any other rooms, so we're heating up the one room, spraying everywhere else. This is the area. I've already got 4 sprinkler covers here. What I do is I bring an ice chest with me. If I had ice at home, I bring that. If not, I just stop at, you know, a gas station, and then I bag up these into some Ziplocs. I do choose the like double Ziplock to prevent leaking, because sometimes these bags can leak from the zipper area and they'll just drip down onto whatever's below, and if it's a laminate floor or something like a wood floor, it could do damage. So I try to have it be as zipped as possible. Also, when I put the bags in here, I like the top being facing up, and I never reuse the zipper. I just use wood clamps to hold this on so I'm not clamping onto the wood. Also, you do this because the doors, if you have the door closed and there's 130 degrees on that side and you've got say 70 on this side, they want to warp, and they typically warp back into place, but when a customer comes home to open the door, they'll notice it feels different. So to prevent that, just put it on the door frame itself. So now we're going to go in and set up some sprinkler covers. So in this case, we've got recessed sprinklers, 1, 2, 3, 4. They remove smoke detector. In a residential home, these are typically 155 to 165. Most commonly is 155. I have to say, is do this completely at your own risk. Some will say never touch a fire sprinkler. I've touched thousands of them, never had one go off. And I'm just going to show you, this isn't how you would fully do it, but this is what happens is on here, you'll see the temperature rating of 135. What that is the soldering melt point of that little tab there. So at 135, that tab melts, dropping this disc off of this and allowing the sprinkler head to be exposed. And that sprinkler head, trying to look, one more up. That sprinkler head says 165, so we're not coming anywhere close to those temps. But I just want to make sure it wasn't a rare 135 degree head. I've never seen it in residential, only in commercial. So I'm going to put this back on, and then I'm going to loop this around. If it's too tight, I loosen it back up. And then I tighten it back up while holding this. Pull this string that way. Make it a little more snug. Got my ice in here. Push up on this. Pinch and pull down. Pull down. See how there's that gap there? What you do is you just move it slightly to the side. Now the gap is fully closed off. And during treatment, you just want to make sure it's nice and snug. Check to make sure they don't fall off. But I'm going to repeat this process with these 3 remaining, as well as, because I'm heating up the bathroom, I've got one up here. There's rarely any in these water closets. And then there's one inside of here. And I always double check to make sure. It's probably the one thing I check the most is on sprinkler jobs that I didn't miss one. Because you might do the best job possible, cover 6, but there's a 7th. That 7th one goes off, it's game over. So always be conscientious of where your sprinklers are at and making sure they're covered at all times. And one more thing too, a lot of people might go into freak out mode and go, oh my gosh, I gotta cover the sprinklers before I turn the machine on. I turned this machine on at like 8:15, 8:20, something like that, before I got everything all set up. And you saw the machine, it's barely at 105. So we're nowhere close to the threshold. Like if I tried to cover all these up first, get the machine going, I just cost myself, I would say, a good half hour. I mean, it just doesn't make sense to do that. Now you will be working in warmer environments. Like I'm putting these on, it's 105 in here and only getting warmer. But I would rather do this than be stuck on the job an extra half hour or longer because of that, you know, unnecessary anxiety. Having done, again, thousands of sprinkler jobs, this is the protocol I've always done. If you follow this, more or less, it should keep you safe. The biggest things you got to worry about, what I will say is on these recessed sprinklers, you have to make sure that the cap is not loose. So what I mean by that is, there's a candle there I'm going to take out. Another candle I just saw. Got to remove those. That would have made a nasty mess. This cap. So this one's snug, but sometimes the weight of this with the ice can make this one to fall down. So if you're starting to put this up or you're having trouble and the cap keeps falling off, again, everything you do is at your own risk. You should have a fire sprinkler company come out and cap them. That's the blah 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 legal stuff. These little tabs, you can kind of push them outward where they screw in, and it gives it a little more tension, so that when you go back to screw it in, it's a tighter fit. So it just gives you, instead of maybe it holds 3 pounds, now it can hold 10 pounds of weight. And I know that somebody in the comments will say, never touch that, I'm a sprinkler guy, blah blah blah. Hey, that's great, don't do that. I'm taking the risk, and having done this again 1,000+ times, 1,000+ jobs, not sprinklers, probably covered close to 10,000 sprinklers over the last almost decade. This method has always worked for me. So just like that, we've got a little gap there, kind of shift it around, pull it snug, shift it around, boom, looks great. All right, going for number 4. And when I am doing these sprinkler covers, because of that anxiety that I mentioned some people will get, even I used to get it, would get it, especially when I was juggling, you know, multiple units at one time. Always cover the sprinklers closest to where the heat's getting pushed in. So, you know, I don't have a heater in this bathroom next to me, so that's why I'm not rushing in there to do those first. This room is more than likely to get hot first. Oh, here's a good example. This one's loose. So if I pull on this, it might fall. And I saw before I even touched this, it was already kind of angled funky. So what I'm going to do is unscrew it all the way. Again, for the millionth time, do this at your own risk. You know, you should hire a fire sprinkler guy, whatever. I'm going to push this tab. That little tab is what grabs into it like a screw. And I'm going to push out. All these are designed to do is to keep this bronze plate in place and not fall out. You might even go to houses that have never touched the sprinklers, and these caps will be missing because they don't get installed with the right amount of tension, and over time they'll just kind of fall out. Or someone painted, they bumped it, whatever happens. So I've given it some pressure on here. We're going to try it again. Yeah, it feels a little more snug now. There we go. All right, so now it's actually going to be flush, unlike before. Loosen it a little bit. Now I'm going to snug it up. Snug, snug, snug. Bag is up. Boom. Looks good, no gaps. So now these are all covered. You can see we're barely 108 degrees, which is a sensor on the inside of here. That's what it's sucking in this side. So these sprinklers are probably not 108. They might be 100, they might be 105. But either way, we're nowhere near the 135 range to be concerned about it after it's been running for a short while. So hit this bathroom one. All right, last one we got is in the closet. Let's see if it'll snug up. There you go. So again, I've looked at this like 10 times. I'm gonna look some more. No sprinklers, no side mounted sprinklers. I'm gonna bring in 2 more fans here. No sprinklers there. I'm gonna keep this stool in here. No sprinkler. All looks good. So for now, we're done in here. We're gonna move on to spraying the rest of the house. All right, so just kind of got to cooking temperature here. I wanted to pull this mattress slightly back just to get some air coming under it, because you'll notice this whole bed frame is completely flat to the ground. So some bed frames, you've got air, you can put a fan and it'll go right under it. In this case, you can't. So I want to get a fan to start pushing some heat under here. You'll notice there's already a bug dead. I just put the fan here like a second ago, so I mean it's working pretty quick, getting a lot of heat pushed under, and just having it here, it's going to help kind of push it under that mattress a little bit. Ultimately, I want to put this mattress, I might put it against the wall, or I might just elevate it. And what I'll use to elevate it, typically I'll use like a drawer. In this case, they don't have any solid drawers, so I'm probably going to go to my truck and grab a milk crate where I store the propane tank. That way it'll get propped up. But just want to show, like, this is the first temp reading where we're overcooked. You know, doing fairly good in the bedroom. Now, because I'm ducting through here, this is not as hot. Still pretty close to cook. 120 is cooked, just to say it. Closet space, doing pretty good. I'm gonna grab 2 more fans to get it circulating in here and continue on. All right, so I want to go and show what I did inside as far as setting up this mattress. You can see just real quick, there's a little bit of a suction going into this room that keeps the sleep tight, I'll say, breathing. Essentially, it prevents it from turning off, having too much CO2. Likely what's happening is it's the duct running from the sleep tight going into the bathroom. It's probably pushing air up, causing positive pressure in the return, and it's like allowing it to come back out. So there's some bit of circulation happening. It's not enough to really drown the machine out, but just want to explain that. What I did, these little toppers, they come off. So I went ahead and I just put them sideways. That one's vertical. I've given it a little bit of elevation going on here. So instead of trying to put this mattress against the wall, causing a cold spot on the side, I decided to leave it kind of like this. I mean, we're doing really well temp wise. I don't know if you guys can see the gun with these glasses, but it's about 130 degrees on the underside. Around the mattress, 130. This side's a little cooler, and the main reason is we got cold air coming in from out here. So I have this fan trying to pull some of this hot air around and behind it, but we're at 125, which is still cooking. So doing good. Back behind here, 124, 123. So we're above kill temperature, which I feel really good about. Drawers, 135, 136. Back behind here, 130, 128, 125. Let's see how the closet's doing now. So back of the machine, anywhere from 130 to 139, it said. If you check the back of your fan, that's going to be a big indication of how warm that room could potentially get. So if the most heat on the back of this fan is 139, it is impossible for that room to go higher than 139. Usually it's going to be 10, 15 degrees lower than what the input is. So you can see we're in the 120s. That back wall A lot cooler. Drywall, it's dense. It's not like clothing. It takes a while to heat up. But clothing wise, we're doing pretty okay. We're getting there. I'd like it to be a little warmer. To also help with that, you could put this right up against it. It'll cause a little more suction. I can even clamp it on. This will heat this up. We'll check back in like a half hour. I guarantee it'll be in the 130 range. One thing when you do this though, there's nothing regulating this room. Like this fan's not going to turn off when this room gets too hot. So you got to make sure you're checking on it so it doesn't get too hot. I don't think it will, given the size of this, but something to be aware of. Bathrooms, tile absorbs heat like crazy, so these temps are gonna have a hard time getting over the 130 range, but nonetheless, we're gonna keep it going for another couple hours and get it to that kill point. All right, want to do another temp check here. Still have another 2 hours to go, it looks like. So underneath here, we're over 120. Mattress, I did decide to lean it up there. I was trying to balance it on some of these edges, and I just know there's going to be a lot of cold spots. So it's looking really, really good under here. Back in behind, looking good. With 2 more hours to go, it's going to heat up really well. I made some adjustments. This machine dropped off in temps temporarily, but we're going to be heating back up really well, especially in this closet space. So yeah, closet space is already heating up a little faster by having that duct right on there. By having this sucking in through here, it's causing a little more air to pull in this way because it's likely pushing through the ventilation system. So just kind of keep that in mind. When you put a duct into another technical room, even though this is open, you can cause that sort of a draft to come in and cool off your main heating area temporarily. So what I'm going to do is attempt to lift the bed frame up, put them on top of these milk crates. They're pretty sturdy. They hold the propane tanks because under, you can see under this side of the bed here, which this is not a common bed frame by any means. It's flush on the ground, so I know it's not getting heated the way it should be. I'm going to lift the corners up and try to put these under here. So here we go. That will get us some airflow under here. Oh, these even just pop out too. That's crazy. Not even bolted in or anything. So now we can get some air under this. Both sides. Push some air under there. Move that the other way around. Let's grab our gun. Super hot right here because we got the output on this. Let's see what the carpet temperature is. Yeah, it's already, heating up very quickly. I don't see any evidence. It was getting pretty hot. This is a pretty thin board, but I just wanted to be sure everything was good, and we're doing great. I'm going in with my final temp reading here before shutdown in 15 minutes. So we're in the 120 to 130s. Again, this is cooking because of the machine. Looking really, really, really good. This is really great. When I'm shooting these sprinkler covers, I'm just making sure they're like in the low 130s, just to make sure I'm not having to, they're not too hot essentially. Remember that drywall earlier was only like 110, now we're at 124, so we're well into cook. Everything's doing really, really great. Really great. Tile, let's see how the tile did. Awesome. So really happy with the way everything's coming out. Looks good. So I'm going to begin shutdown in the next probably 15 minutes. And what I'm going to do while doing shutdown is put everything back so we can finish that cook. And then all I got to do is turn it off and pack up. So I'm going to show the shutdown process now. I've got everything back in place, removed my milk crates, put the mattress back in place. It's been cooking an extra 15 minutes or so. I've already gone downstairs and I've turned off the propane. So that was the very first thing I did. I turned the propane off while the machine runs so the machine can actually drain the lines. Now what I do is I will start to wind this up. So this doesn't fall. I'm going to leave this here, walk back down. Take this now. Same thing, continue to carry it. What I like to do with these hoses is connect them together because that's open and it will smell your truck up. So having them be attached will keep it from smelling inside too strongly. Again, the tanks are already all shut off. Now, wrap the second one up. And same thing. Just connect these two together. Keep the smell inside the hose. Now, before I go and I do everything else inside, I'm going to get everything out of my walkway. So I'm going to get all this stuff put back in the truck next. So always get the same layout. It makes it as easy as possible to unload and reload. Having gone through a lot of different truck setup variations, this is what I've done. The two hoses, I will attach them together like so. Hang them on this wall. You'll see I've got an extra two hoses if I ever needed those. Extra regulators, backup regulators, all that stuff. Get that up there. Dual regulator. I just wrap it like this. And now what I do on my tanks, I've got a lot of empties. I like my empty tanks to stay towards the back so I can use my full tanks. And then when it's time to refill, when I'm down like my last two tanks, like I know that tank is full all the way. That one's pretty full. I've got like two empties and then one got like half. So I've got probably one more job left in me on this one. Like this guy's pretty low. To check how low they are, you can do the shake test. I just shake it around and I feel if there's liquid propane moving around. You can also see, you might see in the video, there's a small little like kind of frost line down there. Where this one, the frost line is much higher. So I know this tank's much fuller. When I shake it, I can hear it sloshing around, but the tank is moving because there's actual propane still inside. So time to load these guys up. All right, now I got the tanks all loaded up, the extra hose loaded up. I've got clear space to take machinery out. It's one of those things you want to do because it just takes one bad trip, literal like tripping, and you can get hurt. And next thing you know, you're hurt, you can't do a job, there goes your money. So getting that space cleared out makes it more efficient, plus it gives your machines some time to cool down so you're not grabbing 135 degree machines. I typically will leave this up, let the heat just kind of stick in here for a little bit. I do like moving the duct, same as the rest of the stuff. The duct is a great tripping hazard, so I'll put that onto here. Same with the hose. Get the hose wrapped up and out of the way. I would do it this way because when I wrap up on the side, this gets snagged on the other sleeve tights I have in there, so do it however you like. You can just tuck it under is one way. Sometimes I'll clamp it like this. I'll clamp it under. There's no pressure on it, it's loose, but it's just out of the way, so your preference. Once I do that, then it's electrical. Keep it on the machine so you know, and we'll start taking stuff out. So a couple of fans to turn off, and then I'll start getting everything else packed up inside here. One of the things I like to do when I'm doing a hybrid heat, now in this situation, this customer is not coming back tonight, so I'm locking up all that stuff. And if you actually leave the doors closed, tomorrow when they get back, it will still be decently warm in here, assuming they don't kick the HVAC on or anything like that remotely. And I do it for a couple reasons. One, I like to slow the heat progression so the room cools off slower, everything can acclimate slowly, there's no shock to the system. And then two, I've had it plenty of times when I don't do that, customer comes home the next day, they're like, it's cold in here. And it's one of those, like, you want to go, obviously it's been, you know, 24 hours or 18 hours, it's going to cool off, and they might not think they got their money's worth, which is also why you document, take lots of photos, upload to the thing. But by keeping the bedroom door closed, or even if not a bedroom door, keeping a closet door, like this closet I closed off, that closet when they come home tomorrow, it's going to probably still be like 90 degrees in there. Just because there's no, it's fully insulated around, there's no windows, there's no nothing that really heat can escape, so it's just going to sit in there. So I'm going to continue packing this stuff up, then we're going to spray. All right, down to bringing the last bit of fan and stuff. One thing to be careful with, made the mistake plenty of times, going downstairs, take your time. These fans are easy to bump into your leg, hit a wall, scuff drywall. It's like my least favorite thing to have to do is tell the customer I damaged it. Most people will say, don't worry about it. We're just happy the bugs are gone. But you still feel bad. So be careful going downstairs. What I will then do, I get everything set up out here so that you might have noticed I'm wearing booties the whole time. So I'm trying to be careful going in and out. If I bring everything right here to the landing, I can take the booties off and finish loading the truck up without going in and out. Then I'll go back up and I'll get the sleep tight to load up last. I like to do back here kind of a double stack, since I can stack up 7 high on these 2 verticals. I carry 20 fans. I have to find a way to get the other 3 to fit besides in the front. And going on the back of those 2 machines tends to be the best. And I just hit the stucco, just like I was saying not to do, on drywall. I moved too quickly, but that will be secured there. Now I stack the rest of this up high. Let's go look at the stucco. Stucco is obviously a little more resilient than drywall. Did nothing, so good there, but it just goes to show you, slow it down. Even after I told you to, I make the same mistakes. Now we go 7 high, 7 high. This is a 24 ProMaster 1500 high roof, so you can stack them this way. Once you get them stacked up, locked in, grab your strap, which is secured part of the frame molding stuff. I'll wait to put more fan there. So you'll see I've got 3 fans left. 7, 14, 17. This is 18. I laid across here just so it's not in the way. Run the strap all the way down. Skip this if you know how to use these things. But once I get this it's hot, and just want it snug, nothing too crazy. I want it to where when I slam on the brakes it's not gonna go anywhere, and that's good there. Now these clamps, I just hang them back here. You can put them wherever you feel comfortable with. Typically right there, they don't move a lot. This is your just basic monitor. I don't use this to monitor temps because it's not super accurate. I look for fluctuations of it going up and down. And I'll just throw that there. I kind of look over here before I drive off to make sure I've got my sensors and I got my heat gun. If I see there's stuff missing, I gotta go check the house. Now the last two, I gotta wait to bring the sleep tight down. Essentially, one goes in front of this one, the other one goes in front of the other one. So time to go get the sleep tight. All right, here we go. Now, sleep tights, much more dangerous going downstairs. So I typically take it out of the room. I do it last so it's not so excruciatingly hot. You can also buy gloves if you want. And just slow and steady. I like to keep it pivoting away from the wall. Some corners on stair landings will be so tight you can't even back this thing up. So be very careful because, again, done thousands of these jobs and damaged my fair amount of drywall. Slowly go down the stairs. I like to keep my leg down flat when I can. Keep my weight shifted back so this thing doesn't go end over end. I'm so glad this machine is lighter than something like a Green Tech or a Delta. The Green Tech actually might be lighter, it's just more bulky. Keeping the pivot close to the stairs away from the wall so I can easily pivot around. Boom, boom, and boom. Going out threshold, I try not to just ram over. I'll get it pushed up against, lean, get one tire up, go to this side, get one tire up, come down slowly, and there you go. Now, again, take these guys back off, and let's load it up. All right, so I can load it up just like it is. The ducting I do put on the very top of the ProMaster here. So I'm gonna do this first. Just squish it down and make some space. Okay. Now under the sleep tight, it's got a little foot. This truck allows me to get that foot up and over, and I lift it up. And then you kind of just shimmy it. I've had employees that literally bear hug this machine and throw it in. Always gave me anxiety, but slide it back. It'll line up with the other sleep tight. And I typically shift it a little left. So there's a space here, because these fans have a little spot. You can slide them in just like that. And now I know I didn't forget any fans, because when I've got my two stacks of 7, I got my 3 back there, 3 in the front. That's 20 fans. Obviously I can see there's 4 sleep tights, 8 tanks. You can run less tanks, you can run more tanks, you can run bigger tanks, you can run smaller tanks. This is just my setup that works for me. I like to keep the floor kind of filled, stop stuff from shifting around and rolling around. Extension poles for sprinklers that are really high. And anyways, let's go finish this job. I didn't do any recording of it, but I did spray the rest of the house while the room was heating up. Now I'm going to do is spray this room. I got my mixture. I never leave a B&G pumped up. They'll damage the little brass insert tube. Had it happen plenty of times. This room is nice and toasty. I forgot to, let me go ahead and get those down. So what this looks like coming off. So hold this, pinch, release, lower down. You'll know that it never got 135 in here because the solder would have melted. Tighten it back to the roof. What else is always cool, this is a 6-hour treatment. There's still ice in this bag. So that tells you it's been pretty cold the whole time. And when you're dealing with those faucet covers, these are the extended ones. You can put a whole bag of ice. Whereas the small covers you get from like Home Depot or Lowe's, they don't have the full extension. So you can only put like maybe half a bag of ice, maybe 3/4, but when you can do a whole bag, they almost always have ice in them when you're done. Going around taking the rest of them down. Same thing, hold, pinch, release. After the cable's out, give it a little twist, put it back into place. A little bit of ice. I pulled down 2 other ones. This one, a little bit of ice. And this one, a little bit of ice. So I always feel pretty confident. And by the way, I did not change any of these out during treatment. I used to before I had these elongated ones. The other ones only came up to like here, and you just couldn't get the amount of ice in there. Plus, these are a little bit thicker than the standard one from Home Depot. So I think they do a little better job insulating, from what I can tell. All right, so taking off the last cover. You can see the string got kind of stuck in there, so I had to loosen it a little bit more. Let's see, loosen it a little more. There we go. Twist, twist, twist. Back into place. And these are the last 2. Still got some ice. Still got some ice. All right, now that sprinkler covers are all the way removed and the step ladder's out, I typically start from where the door opening is at. I pumped up the sprayer. We go to walking pace on the baseboards. There we go. Now bed frames, I'll typically hit where the mattress edge meets the frame. Same with this side here. You put the wand in there. Never put it on top of the mattress with the product I'm using. Baseboards all around. Move out some cables from getting sprayed. I always take the extra time to move things around when I can. It's not something that's you know, 1,000 pounds, or if I move it, it'll get damaged. I'll usually move it away. Even these rugs, they were right up against the bath and the shower. I moved them around. Now the closet space, all the baseboards are full. So I'm not going to go around and digging through the stuff in that situation. What I will do is just hit that perimeter right in front. So if I open this up, it's hot in here. If I were to spray right now, all these clothes are hanging right against the baseboard. I'm gonna get spray all over them, and that's just not right. So I'm gonna leave all these baseboards untreated. I can't hit right in that area. I can do right up against here. And this is more just precautionary. No evidence of them in here, but I'm doing it as part of the service. Again, right in front. So I stopped right here, go behind this mirror, Same thing in front of this door, all as part of the service. And we are, all right, just to finish off the whole treatment, I have already locked the deadbolt, went through the garage, and exited that way. That's most commonly how I'll leave. Some customers will want to meet back here to lock up. They'll leave a key, you know, that I can place someplace secure after I'm done. Every situation is different. I typically don't tell the customer to meet me here for a couple reasons. One, they can't go in the room I just sprayed it. Two is a lot of times you'll have a customer say, yeah, let me know when you're, like, you know, 30 minutes from being done, and you'll tell them, and next thing you know, you're done and waiting, and 30 minutes go by and they have not shown up, and you're just stuck waiting. So I rarely tell a customer that. Also, a lot of times they'll come back and they'll have, which isn't a bad thing, but they'll have 1,000 questions, and these questions are answered in the video that I send to the customers after a treatment is done. And if they have any other questions after that, they can call me. That's usually the best way to go about it. So each situation is different. Of course, you know, the customer is spending hard-earned money, so if that means they need a little extra hand holding, I am 100% okay to do so. I try to reassure them, though, prior that everything gets very well explained in the video I sent afterwards, because I've done this a time or two and know the common frequently asked questions that we will get. So these guys go back in here better, and if they've got bags in them still, my biggest thing is not to reuse the bags. So when I see them in there, I toss them out. I do not reuse them. And that is it. So this truck is fairly done and ready to go. Front's a little messy. Now I finish up my notes, upload my photos, and send the invoice to the customer.